Welcome to this week's Go Bus Sports Live Show. I'm Harrison Simeon.
And I'm Zachary Giesenslaw.
It's February 6th, a week and a day from Valentine's. Zach, what is love?
You know, I think that love is something that I feel right here for you, Harrison.
That means more to me than you'll ever imagine. We start with the men's Hoopers, who snapped their 6-game losing streak at home against TCU on Sunday. Head coach Tad Boyle shook the snow globe, putting 3 true freshmen in the starting lineup for the first time in their careers. The switch worked. CU controlled the game from the jump, holding the Horned Frogs to just 32% shooting in the first half. In his first career start, freshman Josiah Sanders played his heart out, recording 12 points, 3 rebounds, and 6 assists. The Colorado offense was on point all game, shooting 55% from the field and drilling 11 out of their 23 attempted three-pointers.
The men's basketball squad was unable to keep up with the Baylor Bears, losing by 19 points in Waco, Texas. Baylor's defense gave the Buffs all that they could handle, holding Colorado to just 40% from the floor. The black and gold got off to a rough start, turning the ball over 9 times in the first half alone, which Baylor was able to capitalize on and turned into 15 points. Baylor's Tunde Yusufu played a great game. He scored a game-high 27 points on 10 for 16 from the field. He also had 7 rebounds, 1 block, and a steal. The Buffs will have a chance to bounce back Saturday night against the Arizona State Sun Devils.
CU hosts ASU on Saturday. It will be the second meeting between the teams this season. Their first matchup was back in January in Tempe, a game the Buffaloes won 95-89. Colorado will have to focus on shutting down Sun Devils star guard Maurice Odom. He recorded 21 points in the team's first meeting, creating a defensive nightmare for CU's guards. Tip-off is set for 7:30 Mountain Time at the CU Event Center and can be watched live on ESPN2.
Colorado men's basketball gets another shot at Texas Tech this week after a wild first meeting in Boulder. The Buffs trailed by as many as 24 points before rallying late and ultimately falling by a single possession with a final score of 73-71. Since then, Colorado has shown stretches of better offense and more connected defense, but has struggled to close games consistently in Big 12 play. Texas Tech enters as one of the league's most dangerous teams from deep, taking and making the most three-pointers per game in the Big 12 while still playing physical on the glass. With revenge on the mind and conference positioning at stake, expect an intense rematch out of this game.
Welcome into Buff Banner. I'm Jake Chow, joined here with Mason Davis, and we're on the seats. You know who else is on the hot seat? Tad Boyle. Another maybe disappointing season, Mason. Is it time for the Buffs to move on from their head coach of 16 years?
I do think it is time for Colorado men's basketball to move on from Tad Boyle. Repeated being decent, but we are striving for more here in Boulder. Only one Elite 8 appearance, or one Tweet 16 appearance, no Elite 8 appearance in 16 years. I think late game offensive struggles. The defensive identity is there, but I want to see a little bit of change. I think now is the perfect time to move on from Tad and bring in some new leadership for the men's basketball team.
Yeah, certainly, Mason. And, I agree with you. It is kind of a mediocre thing here. But you have to remember that Boulder has historically been a football school, right? They never have built their identity on basketball. And so when you look at Sweet 16s and Elite 8s, that's not really what Colorado's been known for historically. And so that's why I think it's okay, right? And maybe we need to temper it down. I don't think that Tad should be fired at the end of this season. And especially when we look at the core that he has built, a young core, you only look at 3 upperclassmen in Elijah Malone, Bangot Dak, and Barrington Hargress. You look at what Tad is building right now, and I think you should be excited for the future, and that it's really important that they have that cohesion moving forward.
I do agree. I think that young leader or that young talent is something that should really be important, but I also think if you brought in a new face, maybe a younger head coach to go along with that young talent, we could see newer heights here in Boulder. With a new athletic director, a younger talent, something like that. I think a new head coach that could bring in a new identity instead of just Tad's solid defense, bringing in a young coach, maybe an offensive mind from another school that could uplift our offense with this young talent. I think we could see new heights in Boulder in terms of Sweet 16s, Elite 8s. We've seen schools that are primarily focused more on football or more on basketball and build their programs on the other side up to something more. Just more engagement from the fans, everybody. I think to just boost everything up.
Yeah, I think if Colorado were to move on, this would be the time with that new athletic director and kind of at a point where they're not sure exactly what the identity is. But the way that the college landscape is shifting is the cohesion matters. When coaches leave, players leave. Look at Oklahoma State with their coach leaving in football. They had 60 guys hit the transfer portal for football, of course, and it's a little bit of a different story there. But it's ever more important and increasingly more important that coaches stay if they want to keep the culture of their team. And they're building a culture in Boulder right now, and I think that's why it's important that they have Tad at the helm.
I do see that. I think that there is a way to retain our young talent, keep these freshmen here, while replacing Tad. I think we've looked at programs in college basketball over the past decade, half decade. We've seen programs like Kansas State going on to Jerome Tang, and teams like UCLA going to Mick Cronin. They saw instant success within 2 years, going from kind of like where Colorado was, middle of the pack, middle of the conference, shooting up into, we saw the hype with Kansas State and everything, national attention there, and then UCLA reaching the Final Four, and Mick Cronin's just second year. I think Colorado could do something near that with a new head coach.
Yeah, I just worry about who would be leaving if that is the case. But that's Buff Banner. Head coach Tad Boyle, is he on the hot seat? Back to you guys at the desk.
Dang, pretty scathing. Thank you, Jake and Mason. On the women's side, Colorado basketball completed an undefeated weekend on the road. In an overtime thriller against the Kansas Jayhawks last Sunday, Ziana Walker scored a career-high 24 points on 50% shooting. Jade Masagayo tacked on an additional 21. Desiree Wooten added 15 from the bench, including game-sealing free throws in a 69-66 win over KU.
The Buffs kept it close with number 20 ranked West Virginia on Wednesday. Masagayo led the way with 13 points, while Betson brought down 10 rebounds and tacked on 7 points. Colorado got the lead as close as 2 points, but the Mountaineers pulled away in the final 5 minutes. The Buffs out-rebounded and had more bench points than West Virginia, but ultimately fell 61-55.
Looking forward, the Buffs will have their hands full against a well-rounded TCU team. The Horned Frogs sit atop the Big 12 standings and are ranked 12th in the nation. Led by Olivia Miles and Clara Silva, TCU is a top 15 defensive rebounding team while allowing the lowest field goal percentage in the country. Miles has 3 double-doubles and 4 triple-doubles on the season. Colorado will look to spell upset at the CU Event Center. Tip-off is set for 1 p.m. on Sunday.
The Buffs will go on the road to play the Houston Cougars next Wednesday. Houston is just 1-9 in their last 10 games and sits 7-15 overall. The Buffs will look to slow down the Cougars' offense with their methodical defense. Tip-off is set for 5:30 p.m. and will be streamed live on ESPN+.
Sophomore forward Tabitha Betson is a big part of the Buff squad should they make the NCAA tournament. And after a quick leave of absence, she's back and better than ever. Here's Jake Chow with the scoop.
Head coach J.R. Payne and the Colorado women's basketball team is living life on the bubble. The 2026 squad looks nothing like the 2025 team, with only 4 returners, including sophomore forward Tabitha Betson, who has taken a step forward.
Tabitha is one of the most versatile players on our team. I think she's leading us in three-point field goal percentage. She's just a really smart player. She's played at a high level back home in Australia and here in the U.S. And, as a veteran of the team, being here last year, she understands our system and the things that we're looking for and the way that we do things. And she's been a really critical piece to our success this year.
I feel like being one of the 3 kind of returners is a kind of a big deal, especially with all these new people trying to kind of set the scene of what the coaches want. I think going home and then coming back kind of took me a little step back in that, obviously, because I'm new back into the group again. But I think very quickly they were like, no, you know what you're supposed to be doing, you know what they're supposed to be doing, so kind of take on that role. Which is what I've been doing more recently.
Betson took some time away from Boulder to visit her family back in Melbourne, Australia, as she thought about the next steps in her life. But at its center, basketball never left.
I think it honestly refocused me in terms of figuring out, okay, basketball is really what I want, and it's such a big part of myself.
And so it was like she never left Boulder. Despite that overhauled roster and the new faces, Betson and the Buffs never faltered.
For a new player that's coming back in the middle of the season, I didn't have any concerns, but I think she was a little bit worried she's new and everyone's been here.
I was like, okay, how is the team going to feel about me going and coming back? But honestly, they were really welcoming.
Betson will be a key for the Buffs, should they pop their madness bubble as they make a run towards March.
They were a huge part of it. They definitely were she is a part of our team. she is really important to kind of leadership and on-court stuff as well.
Yeah, it's great to have her back, for lots of different reasons. For her leadership and composure and experience, and she's also just a really good player.
I was really close with Jade last year, and she's a huge part of our team, huge part of our offense, and just her immediate acceptance and valuing what I'm saying and playing with me. I think that also helps set the tone with other people as well.
This is Jake Chow reporting for Go Buff Sports.
She's done a great job of, like I said, keeping us organized, communicating through, problem solving on the floor.
Colorado Lacrosse kicks off his season this Monday with a big game against the number 2 ranked Northwestern Wildcats. The Buffs are 1-5 all time against the Wildcats with a 20-5 loss in their matchup last season. Northwestern fell just short of the national championship last season, falling to North Carolina 12-8 in the final. The Buffs will have their work cut out for them, and CU will head to Martin Stadium in Evanston, Illinois, an arena it has never won in, to battle the Wildcats at 6 p.m., streamed live on Big Ten+.
Colorado heads into this season predicted to place third in the Big 12. Well, disappeared for lacrosse and had 4 players earn Big 12 preseason honors. Jess Peluso won preseason co-defender of the year. Elena O took home preseason goalie of the year, while Maddie Shoup and Lily Assini made preseason all Big 12, along with Peluso and O. Buff fans will get their first chance to see those 4 and more in person on February 15th against the Cornell Bears at Prentup Field. CU won't play its first conference game against March 28th against San Diego State at home.
The Buff ski team nearly completed a remarkable comeback at the Nevada Invitational, rallying from a 61-point deficit to pull within 8 points of Utah by the end of the meet. Colorado surged during the giant slalom events behind a dominant showing where the CU men swept the podium for the first time in a decade to score a perfect 111 points. Nordic teams return to action next weekend at the Denver Invitational, now at the Frisco Nordic Center this Saturday.
And the opening ceremony has finally begun for the 2026 Milano Cortina Olympics. 8 Buffs are participating in this year's games, 2 of whom are current CU athletes. Hugo Hinkfus and Jacob Mock will compete in the Nordic skiing for teams Australia and Germany, respectively. Estonia's Alvar Alev will join Hinkfus and Mock on the Nordic Trail. Canada's Cass Gray will join USA's Ryder Sarchit on the Alpine slopes. Sarchit was part of the Buffs' 2024 National Championship winning team and is the first male alpine skier from CU in nearly 30 years. USA's Stacey Gaskill will take part in snowboarding, Sway Irving in freeski, and Joanne Reed in biathlon.
All right, everybody, and now it is time for this week's trivia question. 8 Olympians are representing the Buffs at this year's Olympic Games in Milano Cortina. And our question for you this week, what year saw the most Buffs compete in the Winter Olympics? We'll have that answer for you later in the show.
Welcome to Folsom Feud. I'm your host, Colby, here with 3 contestants today, Lincoln, Balin, and Kieran. Lincoln, start us off.
I'll take game day etiquette for 200.
All right. This is the best way to show respect during the CU fight song.
What is standing, singing loud, and raising your hand in the hook 'em horn sign?
Not what we're looking for. Balin, you have an answer?
What is stand up, sing loud, and do the Ralphie horns?
Correct. Balin, the board is yours.
Give me tailgate traditions for 400.
All right, here's the answer. The must-have item to wear on game day to show your Buff pride. Kieran?
What is black and gold?
That's correct. Nothing says school spirit like those 2 colors. Choose the next one.
Let's do fan etiquette for 600.
Fan etiquette. The proper response when you hear someone yell, "Go Buffs."
What is Skull Buffs?
Skull Buffs is right. Looks like we've got some true Buffs fans here. But thank you all for tuning in. Thank you to our contestants, and see you next time.
The women's golf squad did not have a great start to their spring season, placing 10th out of 12 teams at the Collegiate Invitational at Guadalajara, Mexico. Ellen O'Shaughnessy finished the tournament 3 over and tied for 15th place. She was the highest placing Buff of the tournament and recorded the only round under par for the team. All other members of the Colorado quintet finished 11 over or worse, plummeting the total score to 30.
Good morning and happy Youth Hockey Day from Boulder, Colorado. The University of Colorado Buffaloes have taken down the Utah Utes last night and are hungry for more on this Saturday morning. Welcome into Sko Buff Sports. My name is Paxton Haynes, joined by Kieran Warger. And Kieran, Colorado coming off a 4-game losing streak. They come back home, and they just dominated last night against the top team in the conference.
This was an exciting weekend for Colorado. It continues here today as they traveled to Salt Lake, as you said, Paxton, last week, and the Utes took them down. Both scores were 2-1. So very close games, but nonetheless, the top team in the conference took down Colorado, who was looking for that number 1 seed. They dropped to 4 this weekend. I believe they're at number 3 now in the conference, if I'm not mistaken. And I mean, last night's performance was nothing short of spectacular. The Utes came in here, they wanted to put on a show, but Colorado shut them down here on home ice.
You would be correct here, and the Colorado Buffaloes have jumped the Grand Canyon Antelopes and are now in 3rd place in the WWCHL at 12-8-2-1. The Utah Utes still holding on to that 1st place spot in the conference at 15-7-0-1. Both these teams are about ready to take the ice. And Karen, when we're looking at this team, we got to talk about, we say it every weekend, but we got to talk about Mia Fischelli. Another milestone for her. She scored goal number 20, a career high for her last night, and she has 32 points on the season. If she gets point number 33 today, it would tie last year's point total and would tie that career high for her.
That's what she's looking for here. I mean, this was the career high, as you said, Paxton. I mean, that's just an impressive feat nonetheless. But, I mean, Fischelli, she never ceases to disappoint, whether it's on home ice or away. She had that goal last weekend on that Friday night in Salt Lake. But coming in here tonight, she's looking to bring that total up to 33, and we'll be watching from here.
We will have a little ceremony for the peak-to-peak youth girls hockey team that has joined the Buffaloes today.
For tonight's matchup featuring the University of Utah facing off against your Colorado Buffaloes. Yay! Today, we are happy to welcome the U16 Girls Peak to Peak hockey team. We are proud to support youth hockey across Colorado. Together, we grow the game. First, the starting lineup for Utah. On left D, Morgan LaValle. On right D, Maddie Brent. On left wing, Katie Zashick. Help me. On right wing, Ashley Patterson. On center, Sunny Sharman. And in net, Miranda D'Antunano. And now, the starting lineup for your Colorado Buffaloes. On left D, Sophie O'Brien. On right D, Zoe Dupuy. On right wing, Mia Fischelli. On left wing, Anna Masiello. On center, Natalie Ewald. And in net, we have Shira Wee. Wine. And now, please rise and remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem.
the Colorado Buffaloes, the growing youth girls hockey today here. It's going to be Shira Wine in net for Colorado after that incredible game that she had last night, making 21 saves on 22 shots and had a highlight reel save that we're going to see all over the live show next week. Can't wait to see it, Kieran.
Oh, my God. That's going to – I don't even know how I'm going to call that. I might just leave it to you. I mean, that was just incredible. The diving save by Shira Wine. I don't think I've ever seen an effort quite like that in this rink. And I think you perfectly encapsulated what was happening down on the ice last night, Paxton. Holy cow.
And one of the most important things that Colorado did last night when looking at this team moving into the ending of the regular season and the playoffs was their depth scoring. Ella Harrison scoring 2 goals last night. Finally, we're seeing a more complete roster and getting offensive generation from all sources, not just that first line. It is going to be Miranda de Antognano in net for Utah. She made 20 saves on 21 shots last Friday in the 2-1 Utah victory. This is the final game, 4 out of 4, that these two teams will play against each other in the regular season. Coach David Tenzer said in the post-game interview last night that they fully expect to meet Utah in the playoffs. But before we do that, it is time for the penultimate regular season game at home for Colorado. Puck is down and we are off. Utah switching up the jersey mojo. They're going with their alternate black uniforms tonight. Colorado sticking with those whites. Maciel turns it over in the offensive zone, or in the defensive zone, and Shira Wine covers up.
Early pressure from the Utes right off the opening draw, and they'll get a chance here in Colorado's zone to capitalize.
Face off to the right of Wine. Puck is down. It's won by Utah. LaValle had a goal last night and has just been terrorizing these Buffaloes over the past 2 weekends. The pass goes straight to Fischelli, and here come the Buffaloes the other way. It's Fischelli and Maciello 2-on-2. Mia Fischelli working down to the right. She takes a shot. It goes right off the legs of LaValle. Keeping it in. Mia Fischelli staying with the puck. Makes a nice move. Tried to leave it for Ewald. It's going to connect with Sullivan. Sullivan takes a shot and a save made by De Antognano. Both these teams already getting shots on net to start this one. Antognano getting her first test of the night with a drive from Sullivan. Second line out for the Buffaloes. Piatagorski on the faceoff, still rocking that purple tape from the very successful Hockey Fights cancer night that the Buffaloes had last night in that 4-1 victory. Piatagorski puts it off the post and then kicks at the puck. Got shoveled out from in front of the crease. Zahn racing after it in the corner. She's going to come away with it. Caton's going to help her out. Backhands it up top to Kieran Sullivan. Sullivan's going to let her up again. Pad save made. Throwing out with the backhand. Utah unable to clear. Caton with the puck into a puck battle. Finally, Slack is going to evade. Throw it over to the other side. Colorado still heavy on that forecheck. And finally, Utah cleared it out for a second. The Buffs had to tag up. Still just working to get that puck out of their own zone. An errant pass is not going to be too much of a problem for them. They finally come out to the neutral zone. Cassie Grant in the lineup today, playing her 11th game of the season. Is there on that deep pair with Kieran Sullivan. Back out by the red line. Sowers trying to lift the stick for that puck. And then poked at by Slack. Now down below the net. Ketchum banks it down by the far boards. Claire Furla playing consecutive games. Had a good game last night to Claire Furla with a big assist on the first Ella Hairston goal. Her first shift of the night it was. And she rightfully got the nod again today. Turnover, Ketchum with the puck in the slot. She shoots, goes wide of the net. Wine sprawls out and covers it up with the glove. We'll get a whistle at 17:30.
Shira Wine just able to smother that one as the Utes tried to penetrate that zone, but they'll have a chance here off another draw. Lots of back and forth so far this first period. Kind of the story of last night, but I'm not sensing the same urgency from Colorado that we saw last night, Paxton, at least not as of yet.
Maddie Brent backhands it out to the neutral zone. Utes passing couldn't connect, and Izzy Mitchell will scoop it up in her own zone. Kept in, LaValle tosses it down. Mitchell's there to pick it up. Colorado did an excellent job last night of exiting their own zone. It was a big problem for them in this series 2 weekends ago against UMass, and then again last weekend against Utah, but they seem to have solved those problems, at least for last night. We'll see how they fare today as Utah keeps it in. Here's Brent. That shot got deflected and went well wide. Still unable to get it out of the Buffaloes. It's Zezchuk. Zezchuk, who had an assist last night, looking to bring it up top. She connects with Brent. Brent trying to work around Oki Terleska. Work it down low, rip a shot from left circle. Loose puck, shoveled out by Colorado. Brent staying with it. Multiple buffs on her, trying to shake that puck. It stays with the Utes. It's Patterson. Now up top, Morgan LaValle. LaValle shoots in front with Wallace, and the Wallace has a step. Here comes Amanda Wallace the other way, over the blue line, but a little tired. She's just gonna gain and throw it on net for a cover-up. First line.
Smart move by Wallace, able to get it away and head to the bench quickly, but it's going to be covered up by Yantiano.
First line enters for Colorado. The whole starting 5 is going to be out there. Faceoff will head to the other dot. On the far side, Ewald and Bynum on the draw. Tied up and gets thrown down to the corner. Maciel and Fischello fighting for it. Breaking out is Utah. It's Wensink. Wensink will throw it into the glove of Shira Wine. Taylor Wensink with a interesting form of skating. Has her back almost parallel to the ice as she's just chugging down the ice with a lot of speed.
My goodness, I mean, that's not something you see too often. I mean, charging down, she had so much urgency on that play. Utah trying to respond here early after that tough loss that they took last night.
In the corner, it's Carlston. Back up top, a shot from the slot. Glove save made, no problem by Shira Wine.
Easy glove save for Wine as Greenwood heads to the bench. Right down the slot. Colorado's defense is constantly being tested here in this first period. Utah trying to tire them out early and flip the script on last night.
Shira Wine improving her goals against average. She entered last night at 2.20, and then after that big 1-goal performance that she allowed, it is now a 2.08, along with that 5.29 save percentage. Cassie Grant over to Alexa Catan, looking to push up ice. She'll stay with it as she crosses the red line and now over the blue. Buffs are offsides though, as Piatagorski was a little antsy getting into that zone.
The "you can't do that" chant coming from the Utes bench. Very chippy here this morning.
The intensity and competitive spirit is in the air as we've got playoff hockey coming up here in the Rec Center after this game. Men's D2 will face off against Wyoming. Looking forward to that one. Should be a really good game.
Oh, I'm excited for that one, Paxton. I mean, Colorado, we've seen what they've done all season, but first playoff game here at the Rec Center in quite some time. I've never covered it, so this should be an exciting afternoon.
And then the men's D1 team got an emphatic victory over San Diego State last night, back in the winning column, which they needed pretty bad, keeping those spirits up as they get to the end of their regular season. Senior night is tonight for men's D1 as they round off their series against San Diego State. Sowers able to keep it in for Colorado, looking to backhand onto the net, but it never got there. And now into the neutral zone. Sowers picks it up. Bothered there hard by Brent. And is just going to throw it down towards the net of Shira Wine. Brent picks it up first on the far side. Down low. That pass got a little bit away from Sharman. And Colorado's able to get out of the zone. Here's Sowers. Amelia Sowers broke a 7-game point drought last night when she assisted the second Ella Hairston goal. Morgan LaValle entering the zone. Down to the goal line, looking for a wraparound. She shoots. Save made by Wine. Doesn't come out of the zone. Poked down by Utah, but McDonald is there. That pass was out of the way of Mitchell. Furlow will have to scoop it up. Kicks off a skate and just trickles out of the zone. LaValle couldn't connect with Merriweather. Now McDonald to Wallace. And then scooped up by Utah. Mitchell throws it off the glass. And then thrown right back in by Utah. Both these teams really struggling to establish possession in either team's zone. Here's Carlston. Carlston coughs up the puck. Wallace with a nice poke over to Oki Terleska. She dumps it. No icing as it got deflected in front by a Ute. First line out, Ewald coming in on the forecheck. Buffs are able to keep it in. Big body by Dupuis. Throws Wensink off the puck. Fischelli races after it. Below the net, Mia Fischelli. Will circle all the way to the top of the ice. Connected to Dupuis. Dupuis, she shoots. And a stick save made in front. Blocked by Clara Slack. Kept in, O'Brien with the body. Fischelli just reaching out to keep it in, but then swiped air at the puck. Fischelli back in, she shakes Slack, but didn't bring the puck with her. And now Ketchum. Ketchum had a step on Sophie O'Brien. Icing's waved off, she's there first. Ketchum leaves the puck, but couldn't find the tape of Sophia Guerin. Utah, all 5 players in their own zone, just trying to break out again. 11 minutes and 25 seconds left to go in the first period of play. We are scoreless. Utah leads in shots 4-2. The Utes definitely coming out with a lot more urgency than they had Friday night. Kieran Sullivan across the red line, backhands it in. So a couple Buffs can get a change. It'll kick off the boards and right into the glove of De Antignano. Miranda De Antignano enters the game with a .285 goals against average and an .898 save percentage. This is her 14th start of the season. Her last game was a 20-save win against these Buffaloes. Catan and Zahn fighting for the puck down low. It's going to kick out to a Ute. It's Brent, who feeds it ahead to Zeschuk. The pass is too far, and Sullivan and Zeschuk will have to race after it. Bring some help as Patterson. Patterson scoops it up and looked to put in front of the net. Now shot from the point. Goes off the boards behind the net. Still trying to get it out now. Doing so is Abigail Zahn, but she just ices the puck. The Buffs are going to have to stay out there. They are pretty gassed. Good chance here for Utah.
I'd say pretty gassed is an understatement at this point, Baxton.
Sharman and Piatigorsky will face off in Colorado's zone. A good, clean win for Piatigorsky. Zahn gains the red line, and that time she doesn't ice it, so the Buffs can get a change. Patterson flips it out with the backhand to neutral zone. McDonald is there. Here's Catan. Catan staying on the ice after that last shift. And you can tell she needs a breather. Carlston, unable to get it out. Hairston, that big 2-goal performance, her best game of the season she had last night. And this line as a whole, an excellent performance from them. They brought Claire Furla out, and she brought a bit of a spark. Oki Terleska will cross the red line. Getting around Zeschuk and staying with that puck. She takes a shot from the right circle and a save made by De Antignano. Looking at the rest of the WWCHL, the Grand Canyon Antelopes have a game tonight against Lindenwood, and then they play again on Sunday. And then after that, they will face off against those fierce Arizona State Sun Devils. That'll be a good scoreboard watch, as Arizona State, one of, if not the top teams of the Independents in the women's D1 ACHA. The glove save made by D'Antoniano, as Dupuis just continuing to pepper shots from that blue line. Dupuis has gone 17 games without a point, and you can tell every single game she just wants to find the back of the net so bad. Wallace, she shoots, and having to make an adjustment was D'Antoniano, but she's able to make the save. Wallace slipped and fell, and the Utes are able to get it up now. Dupuis right back in, dumps it. D'Antoniano's going to play the puck, leaving it for Slack. Slack changes course, but the body of Wallace sent it the other way. Utah out to the neutral zone. Dupuis is there to scoop it up. 8:50 to go in this scoreless hockey game in the first period. Mia Fischelli gets around Carlston. Mia Fischelli, she shoots. Puck is loose. It just squirted past D'Antoniano, but couldn't find its way into the back of the net. Carlston was there to whack it out. O'Brien, she shoots. It goes wide. Greenwood looking to get it out. O'Brien is there on the forecheck, but some help from Carlston. And she's over the blue line. Excuse me, that's Bynum, but she took a shot right off the shins of Zoe Dupuis. Kept in by Utah. Shot from Bynum, pad save made. Fischelli trying to break out, went off a Ute. Natalie Ewald trying to backhand out of their own zone. The Utes keep it in only for a moment as Ewald picks up that puck herself. Catan on the forecheck. Puck is slid over to Megan Fish. And it stays with Utah. Carlston throws it ahead. That should be icing. It is, and we will get a face-off in front of Miranda D'Antoniano.
D'Antoniano taking a breather real quick. She'll head back to her net. She was nearly caught off guard several times on that last series, Paxton. I mean, that Fischelli line came out. Started with that shot from Fischelli. The rebound, the puck was loose on the opposite side of the net. Natalie Ewald just not in the right place. But what a chance for this Colorado first line.
Cassie Grant couldn't corral that puck, so it just comes out to the neutral zone, and Colorado have to force it into the zone again. It's Abizan. She shoots, and it just went over. Rebound. Catan tried to backhand it. Looked like kind of an unassuming shot from Abizan, but that almost just found the top corner. Cassie Grant flips it down right to a Ute. It's Brent. Throws it to the other side to her D partner. Ahead to Ketchum. Ketchum can't connect with Megan Fish cleanly. And right now, Kieran, both these teams just kind of throwing the puck back and forth to each other. Not a lot of time with a lot of established possession. Sowers in the corner. Scoops up that puck herself. No, she got her stick lifted. McDonald throws it off the glass. And then right back up and out is Utah. Quick into the zone is Terleska, but the Buffs were offsides as Furla and Sowers couldn't tag up in time.
Okay, Terleska taking a trip there right at the blue line, along with Sonia Charman.
Face off in the neutral zone is Brianna Ahrens. Ahrens with 2 goals on the season. It had been a while before she finally found the net, but then scored 2 goals in the span of 3 games. Wallace looking for a call. I think she thinks that she was held. She's not going to get it. As Teleska is across the blue line. Oki Teleska backhands it for Amanda Wallace. Wallace, she shoots. Blocker save made. And the rebound is taken out by Utah. That pass didn't find the stick of Zeschuk, and Utah ices the puck. Colorado has made up that shot differential. They are now ahead 6-4. Here in this first period, we are scoreless with 5 minutes and 46 seconds to go. In the first 20, first line is out. It's Mia Fischelli, who's going to take the face-off instead of Natalie Ewald. Interesting, but she wins it. Dupuis to Ewald, who puts it in front of the net. Rebound is loose, and Masiello couldn't get her stick on it. Zoe Dupuis quickly over to Natalie Ewald. They've got Natalie Ewald on the right wing right now, and Mia Fischelli working from the center position. Interesting call from Olivia Wilburn. We saw that the lines got switched up a little bit last night, and it seemed to have worked. Ella Hairston was a fan of her new forwards that she was working with, and it paid out in dividends for her 2 goals last night. She has 5 on the season. Out in the neutral zone, it's Aspen Edwards in the lineup tonight, or today I should say, for Utah. Saucer pass connects with Mia Fischelli. Fischelli over the blue line, she shoots and it goes well wide. Under 5 minutes to go in this scoreless first period. Dupuis slaps it right in, busts it to tag up, and now will give chase. Catan, no, just kidding. The Buffaloes did not tag up. And so now Utah is able to enter the zone. Looking for a pass from below the net. It's Patterson. Puts it in front. And a good stick by Abby Zahn. Quickly got that puck off the stick of Taylor Wensink. Sullivan chips it out. It comes out to Morgan LaValle. And the Utes looking ready to break out of their own zone. Kept in by the stick of Sullivan. Now Piatagorski giving chase on the forecheck. Wensink out. Good stick by Catan. Slowed the puck down and brought it to 2-goal scorer Ella Hairston. No icing on this one. Claire Furlow started up in her own zone. She connects with Hairston, who then got sent down the ice when she tried to send it back to Sowers. Now Ketchum the other way. Utes are onside. Ketchum between the circles. She shoots. Glove save made by Shira Wine. Grant couldn't get it out. Sharman down low in the corner looking for a pass. Calling for her defenseman's up top. Stick aside by Wine. And the Buffs clear. Thrown into the bench of the Buffaloes, and we'll get a whistle. Face-off will come out to the neutral zone. 3 minutes and 5 seconds to go in this first period. Good possession there for Utah. Getting a couple more shots on that board. We're tied 6 apiece. Face-off will be right at center ice on that Ralphie logo. Won by Utah. Sharman. She shoots. Stick save made, and it kicks up into the screen. The Montana State Bobcats beat the Wyoming Cowgirls in Bozeman last night by a score of 9-3. That WWCHL standings have gotten really, really tight as now GCU, MSU, CU, and Utah are all just scrapping and clawing. Only a few points separate all those teams. Playoffs should be a lot of fun. Here's Patterson. Patterson looked to connect with Zeschuk. Now she throws it on. Staying with it is Utah. Patterson backhands it for Sharman. Sharman to Patterson, but the puck goes wide. Edwards shoots. It goes to the right. And Walls is able to get it up and out. Should be icing it is going to be. With 2:17 to go in this first period, we are still scoreless.
Dupuis just urgent to get it out of that zone. But it'll cost them and bring them draw back out to their zone, and that line will have to stay on the ice. Excuse me.
Arns wins the faceoff. Mitchell to Terleska looking to break out. But Utah on the forecheck kept the puck in for the moment. Morgan LaValle gains the red line and dumps it in. Giving chase and getting there first is Camden Harris, who left it and ends up going right to Anna Masiello. And here comes the first line the other way with that dynamic duo. Ewald put it into the skates of Fischelli, and that is quickly taken care of. Now it's Ewald. Ewald just throws it in. Got kind of kicked off her stick. Taken out. Here's Brent. Brent on Dupuis. Lost the puck and is going to have to reset now in front of the net. Loose puck. And pad saves made by Wine before she covers up with the glove. Both these goalies been tested so far, and both of them have been up for the task. 124 in the first. Sophie O'Brien throws it up into the screen. Luckily for her, this isn't the NHL. That would have been delay a game. Face-off is won by Utah, but then it splits the D-men. Fischelli keeps that puck in. The Buffs are on sides. Mia Fischelli down low, trying to backhand it to Ewald in front of the net. Ewald and Fischelli fighting for that puck. It comes to Alexa Catan, but then she got pickpocketed. And Wensink enters the zone. Zoe Dupuis hard on her. Zoe Dupuis drew 3 penalties last night, and she is not changing the way that she's been playing. Not afraid to play the body at all. Hit from Catan. And the Buffs are out in the neutral zone. It's Mia Fischelli over the blue line. Fischelli shoots. Glove save made by De Antignano. First line will head off for the final time, presumably this period, and the second line will finish out. Piatigorski taking that face off. She was incredible last night on the dot, and been good so far in this one. It's tied up, and the Utes will be the one to come away. Here's Haley Smith. Smith, the Arvada, Colorado native, now playing for the enemy. Up top, a shot from the point was right along the ice and never got to the net. Kept in by Utah. Not a lot of grade A chances, though, for the Utes here in this period as the final seconds bleed off the clock. That is going to do it for the first 20 minutes of action here at the Rec Center. We are scoreless, 0-0 on Youth Hockey Day. As we welcome you in here to the booth on Packs and Hands with Kieran Worgen. Kieran, a little bit slower, coming off of that, thrilling win last night. Both these teams looks like they're still kind of waking up a little bit.
Absolutely. I mean, it's early in the morning. These early morning games are not just hard for these teams. They're hard for us. Well, at least for me. For sure. Ladies and gentlemen, apologies there, folks. But as I was saying, these early morning games, they're tough for these teams. They're tough for us, in fact, just getting up here. But, nonetheless, first period, trying to get your bearings under you at 11 a.m. And by the time you head into period number 2, it's pushing that 12 o'clock mark where you start to wake up a little bit. And these teams both have a decent feel for each other, but I just did not see the same intensity that we saw last night because we're still scoreless here.
Absolutely well said. And speaking of a long day and short rest, we've got a long day coming up. It's a marathon today for us on School Bus Sports. Playoffs for D2 coming up after this, and then senior night for men's D1. Should be a fun day of action here on School Bus Sports.
No, absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself. I'm excited. I love these days, man. Just coming out here covering all the teams that play here in this rink. It's hard, but we power through, and we're grateful to all of you who tune into these streams.
That'll do it for the first period of action. We are tied 0-0 after one. Second period coming your way in about 15 minutes here on School Bus Sports.
Wooten added 15 from the bench, including game-sealing free throws in a 69-66 win over KU.
The Buffs kept it close with number 20 ranked West Virginia on Wednesday. Masagayo led the way with 13 points, while Betson brought down 10 rebounds and tacked on 7 points. Colorado got the lead as close as 2 points, but the Mountaineers pulled away in the final 5 minutes. The Buffs out-rebounded and had more bench points than West Virginia, but ultimately fell 61-55.
Looking forward, the Buffs will have their hands full against a well-rounded TCU team. The Horned Frogs sit atop the Big 12 standings and are ranked 12th in the nation. Led by Olivia Miles and Clara Silva, TCU is a top 15 defensive rebounding team while allowing the lowest field goal percentage in the country. Miles has 3 double-doubles and 4 triple-doubles on the season. Colorado will look to spell upset at the CU Event Center. Tip-off is set for 1 p.m. on Sunday.
The Buffs will go on the road to play the Houston Cougars next Wednesday. Houston is just 1-9 in their last 10 games and sits 7-15 overall. The Buffs look to slow down the Cougars' offense with their methodical defense. Tip-off is set for 5:30 p.m. and will be streamed live on ESPN+.
Sophomore forward Tabitha Betson is a big part of the Buff squad should they make the NCAA tournament. And after a quick leave of absence, she's back and better than ever. Here's Jake Chow with the scoop.
Head coach J.R. Payne and the Colorado women's basketball team is living life on the bubble. The 2026 squad looks nothing like the 2025 team, with only 4 returners, including sophomore forward Tabitha Betson, who has taken a step forward.
Tabitha is one of the most versatile players on our team. I think she's leading us in three-point field goal percentage. She's just a really smart player. She's played at a high level back home in Australia and here in the U.S. And, you know, as a veteran of the team, being here last year, she understands our system and the things that we're looking for and the way that we do things. And she's been a really critical piece to our success this year.
I feel like being one of like the 3 kind of returners is like a kind of a big deal, you know, especially with all these new people trying to kind of like set the scene of what the coaches want. I think going home and then coming back kind of like took me a little step back in that, obviously, because I'm new back into the group again. But I think very quickly they were like, no, you know what you're supposed to be doing, you know what they're supposed to be doing, so kind of take on that role. Which is what I've been doing more recently.
Betson took some time away from Boulder to visit her family back in Melbourne, Australia, as she thought about the next steps in her life. But at its center, basketball never left.
I think it honestly refocused me in terms of like figuring out, okay, basketball is really like what I want and it's such a big part of myself.
And so it was like she never left Boulder. Despite that overhauled roster and the new faces, Betson and the Buffs never faltered.
You know, for a new player that's coming back in the middle of the season, you know, I didn't have any concerns, but I think she was a little bit worried just, you know, she's new and everyone's been here.
I was like, okay, like how is the team gonna feel about me going and coming back? But honestly, they were really welcoming.
Betson will be a key for the Buffs, should they pop their madness bubble as they make a run towards March.
They were a huge part of it. They definitely were like, she is a part of our team. Like she is really important to kind of like leadership and like on-court stuff as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to have her back, you know, for lots of different reasons. You know, for her leadership and composure and experience. And she's also just a really good player.
I was really close with like Jade last year, and she's a huge part of our team, huge part of our offense, and just her like immediate like acceptance and valuing what I'm saying and playing with me. I think that also helps set the tone with like other people as well.
This is Jake Chow reporting for Go Buff Sports.
She's done a great job of, like I said, keeping us organized, communicating through, you know, problem solving on the floor.
Colorado Lacrosse kicks off his season this Monday with a big game against the number 2 ranked Northwestern Wildcats. The Buffs are 1-5 all time against the Wildcats with a 20-5 loss in their matchup last season. Northwestern fell just short of the national championship last season, falling to North Carolina 12-8 in the final. The Buffs will have their work cut out for them, and CU will head to Martin Stadium in Evanston, Illinois, an arena it has never won in, to battle the Wildcats at 6 p.m., streamed live on Big Ten Plus.
Colorado heads into this season predicted to place third in the Big 12. Well, disappeared for lacrosse and had 4 players earn Big 12 preseason honors. Jess Peluso won preseason co-defender of the year. Elena O took home preseason goalie of the year, while Maddie Shoup and Lily Assini made preseason all Big 12, along with Peluso and O. Buff fans will get their first chance to see those 4 and more in person on February 15th against the Cornell Bears at Prentup Field. CU won't play its first conference game against March 28th against San Diego State at home.
The Buff ski team nearly completed a remarkable comeback at the Nevada Invitational, rallying from a 61-point deficit to pull within 8 points of Utah by the end of the meet. Colorado surged during the giant slalom events behind a dominant showing where the CU men swept the podium for the first time in a decade to score a perfect 111 points. Nordic teams return to action next weekend at the Denver Invitational, now at the Frisco Nordic Center this Saturday.
And the opening ceremony has finally begun for the 2026 Milano Cortina Olympics. 8 Buffs are participating in this year's games, 2 of whom are current CU athletes. Hugo Hinkvist and Jacob Mock will compete in the Nordic skiing for teams Australia and Germany, respectively. Estonia's Alvar Alev will join Hinkvist and Mock on the Nordic Trail. Canada's Cass Gray will join USA's Ryder Sarchit on the Alpine slopes. Sarchit was part of the Buffs' 2024 National Championship winning team and is the first male alpine skier from CU in nearly 30 years. USA's Stacy Gaskill will take part in snowboarding, Sway Irving in freeski, and Joanne Reed in biathlon.
All right, everybody, and now it is time for this week's trivia question. 8 Olympians are representing the Buffs at this year's Olympic Games in Milano Cortina. And our question for you this week, what year saw the most Buffs compete in the Winter Olympics? We'll have that answer for you later in the show.
Welcome to Folsom Feud. I'm your host, Colby, here with 3 contestants today, Lincoln, Balin, and Kieran. Lincoln, start us off.
I'll take game day etiquette for 200.
All right. This is the best way to show respect during the CU fight song.
What is standing, singing loud, and raising your hand in the hook 'em horn sign?
Not what we're looking for. Balin, you have an answer?
What is stand up, sing loud, and do the Ralphie horns?
Correct. Balin, the board is yours.
Give me tailgate traditions for 400.
All right, here's the answer. The must-have item to wear on game day to show your Buff pride. Kieran?
What is black and gold?
That's correct. Nothing says school spirit like those 2 colors. Choose the next one.
Let's do fan etiquette for 600.
Fan etiquette. The proper response when you hear someone yell, "Go Buffs."
What is Skull Buffs?
Skull Buffs is right. Looks like we've got some true Buffs fans here. But thank you all for tuning in. Thank you to our contestants, and see you next time.
The women's golf squad did not have a great start to their spring season, placing 10th out of 12 teams at the Collegiate Invitational at Guadalajara, Mexico. Ellen O'Shaughnessy finished the tournament 3 over and tied for 15th place. She was the highest placing Buff of the tournament and recorded the only round under par for the team. All other members of the Colorado quintet finished 11 over or worse, plummeting the total score to 39 over on the weekend. The Buffs traveled to Tucson, Arizona to compete in the Thunderbird Intercollegiate starting on Monday.
Buffs track and field is back in action today, and this time it's right here at home. The annual Colorado Classic is taking place in Boulder at the Ford Practice Facility, one of the Buffs' key indoor home meets of the season. Field events got underway at noon today, while the track athletes will look to build on their strong starts to the season. Tomorrow. The men's distance squad currently holds the top spot in the NCAA Indoor Mile. Fans can find out if it can keep that momentum going tomorrow at 11 a.m. in the Ford Practice Facility.
Last weekend, the tennis team defeated Miami of Ohio 6-1 to improve to 3-0 on the season. However, the team then traveled to Denver on Sunday, where they suffered their first loss 4-2 against the Pios. CU is still undefeated in doubles play, but its efforts in singles matchups fell just short of DU's. Tennis has this weekend to rest before traveling to Minneapolis to take on 3 different opponents next weekend.
CU women's hockey is in a bit of a tough stretch late in the regular season. The Buffs lost both games last weekend to the Utah Utes, both by a score of 2-1. But they have a chance to turn it around and get revenge on the Utes at home this weekend. The Buffs play tonight at 5 on Hockey Fights Cancer Night and Saturday morning on Youth Hockey Day. Those games will be streamed live on ScoBuff Sports, so stay tuned.
The regular season may be finished for men's D2 hockey, but the playoffs are just getting started. This Saturday at 3, Colorado will face off against either the University of Wyoming or Colorado State. The Cowboys and Rams will play against each other on Friday night at 8 p.m. in Fort Collins, the winner earning the 4th spot in the Big Mountain Hockey Conference Tournament to play against the first-time conference championship Buffs. Saturday's game will be at the CU Rec Ice Rink and streamed live right here on ScoBuff Sports on YouTube.
Men's D1 hockey is still in the regular season and plays its penultimate home series this weekend against San Diego State. The Buffs and Aztecs sit at the bottom of the Western Collegiate Hockey League standings, with CU in 10th and SDSU in 11th. Colorado has lost 4 in a row and is 2-8 in his last 10 games, but it wasn't all bad as CU was able to break its New Year's scoreless streak in its 2-game series against Missouri State. Puck drop against the Aztecs is at 8 p.m. on Friday and 7 on Saturday, with both games at the Rec and right here on ScoBuff Sports.
We're just a few days away from Super Bowl 60, the big game in Santa Clara. Sunday's game will feature one former Colorado Buffalo on the NFL's biggest stage. Brady Russell, class of 2023, is the current fullback and a backup tight end for the Seattle Seahawks. He also serves as the special teams captain of the franchise. Russell is the first alum to represent the program since Isaiah Oliver in Super Bowl 58. Despite several alumni to play in the past few years, no former Buff has been on a championship-winning roster since Nate Soldier with the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 53. Christian Gonzalez, New England's top cornerback, also spent 2 seasons with the Buffaloes before transferring to Oregon, where he became a future first-round draft pick.
Hey Buff fans, I'm Kieran Walker bringing you this week's top 5 plays in Colorado sports. A bit of a lull in the action again this weekend, but nonetheless, we're still got some stuff to cover, so let's dive right in. Going to number 5, we go to women's hoops against West Virginia. Desiree Woot off the fast break. She'll get that open layup right over the defender for the Mountaineers. Let's get a slow-mo look at that going up that right side, laying it up. Boom, ladies and gentlemen, off that fast break. What a play. The Buffs only down by 3. Let's go to men's hoops now for number 4, this time against the Baylor Bears. Tough game here, but it's stolen by Josiah Sanders, and he's going to send it over to Jalen Holland, who launches for 3, and he gets it from downtown, right between the eyes. That was a tough game against Baylor, though, I will admit. Let's go to women's hockey now for number 3. It's picked up by Sophie O'Brien going up that far side of the rink. Takes a shot. Rebound in by Fischelli. She tips it in right out in front. What a play. And that game is tied at 1. Tough series, though. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Pro Bowl. Look, it's Shador Sanders and Garrett Bowles. You can't keep him out of the end zone. Ladies and gentlemen, Bowles' second touchdown of the game for the AFC. And just look at this. Sanders, tremendous accuracy, and Bowles making that tremendous catch. I don't think I've ever seen a lineman score a touchdown, but it's the Pro Bowl. Anything can happen. Now for number 1 now, let's go over to Isaiah Johnson. And the Dak attack! A monster slam for Bangot Dak against the TCU Horned Frogs right here in Boulder. Huge win for Colorado. That's going to do it for this week here on ScoBuff Sports Play of the Week. I'm Kieran Walker, wishing you a wonderful weekend.
Welcome back to Boulder for the second period of action between the Colorado Buffaloes and the Utah Utes. We are scoreless after 1. Both these teams looking to get on that score sheet and break the ice. We hope everyone tuning in is having a great Saturday morning. Thank you for watching. I'm Paxton Haynes with Kieran Warger. And Kieran, for both these teams, really just got to find some juice in those skates. Everyone's looking a little lethargic. Passing's just kind of sloppy across the board. And overall, just not super thrilling hockey.
Absolutely. Tons of icing calls, too, in that first period. Just Colorado and Utah just trying to clear their zones as quickly as possible, not getting across the red line. And that's causing their teams to get even more lethargic as they head later into the period. But the second 20 minutes of action is coming up here, and it's gonna be interesting to see what happens here. I mean, Colorado, their defense was tested early by Utah, who's still got a little bit more lightning, it looks like, but we'll see if they can hang on.
And it's a really, really big game for Colorado. I don't think we mentioned that in the pregame, but this is a huge game for Colorado. I mean, this is kind of, look at the rest of the season. It's pretty much must win the rest of the way in this really tight WWCHL heading into the playoffs. Colorado looking to work towards playing their best hockey now. We saw what their best hockey was last night, and we'll see if they can recapture that here in the second period as we are underway. O'Brien flips to Anna Masiello. Looking to get out of her own zone so the Buffs can start up offensively. But the forecheck from Utah forces a puck battle along the boards. Utah comes away with it. Sharman wasn't able to get the shot off before she got stripped of the puck. Now Ewald the other way, collides with a Ute. Lost the puck at about the red line, just throws it in. Brent connects with Zeschuk. O'Brien swiped at the puck and couldn't keep it in. O'Brien to her D partner, connect with Masiello. Then that pass was too far for Natalie Ewald. And Morgan LaValle and the Utes coming out of their own zone. Here's Brent. Over the red line. We'll just throw it on net. Shira Wine will freeze that puck. And we'll get a quick whistle here in the second. Karen Sullivan appearing to be hyping up her team a little bit, encouraging them to start skating with a little more urgency. I agree with the sentiment.
She was, in fact, getting hyped up last night. Very large crowd last night. Karen Sullivan is getting a lot of cheers up here in the stands.
Absolutely. Crowd today, a little bit more bare bones. Looks like just close family here. It is an 11 a.m. puck drop. Not the most lucrative when it comes to ticket sales. Cassie Grant on the forecheck along with Alexa Catan. Utah trying to force it out. Pass comes out to no one. And Kieran Sullivan is there. Backhands it to Catan. Catan out in the neutral zone with her forwards. The pass kicked off the blade of Sowers. And it goes right back to Utah. Here's LaValle. Over the blue line, she shoots, save made, rebound is loose, and it's sent aside by Kieran Sullivan. Harrison got sent down hard to the ice away from the play, no call. Sowers coughs up the puck. Now Harrison trying to calm that puck down, but it kicked right over to Carmen Manor. Up top, it's Fish. She shoots, blocked in front. Hairston sent it behind Catan. There's Sowers, but she never actually touched the puck. Hairston over to Claire Furla. Furla trying to get around Fish. But there is Aspen Edwards. Utah can't clear. Tuleska keeps it in. She shoots, it goes wide. Kept in by Mitchell. Terleska had her back turned to the puck when the pass was coming her way, but she corrals and flips it up top to McDonald. McDonald shoots it blocked in front. Juliana McDonald still looking for her first point of the season. She's got some really great games, especially defensively, but just has not found the score sheet in any way this season. Wallace just keeps it from coming across the blue line. And then again, McDonald continues the possession for Colorado. Puck battle down the corner is won by Utah. It's Camden Harris who gains the red line and dumps. The Utes get a change and give chase to the puck as Ewald and the rest of the first line are out for Colorado. Here's Anna Masiello feeding it to Mia Fischelli, but the pass won't connect. Buffs never came across the blue line. Now they're onside as Ewald just dumps it in. Masiello. Ewald giving her help on the puck battle. Loose puck, and Fischelli put a shot on that went just to the left of the post. Ewald slapped it down to the boards. Masiello was there racing after it. It's kept in by Ewald. A lot of bodies congested. Puck is loose between the circles. Taken out to neutral zone by Utah. Morgan LaValle, the first one to touch the puck. She's got it down by the goal line in the near corner. Pass couldn't find Sharman. And Fischelli works out the other way, bothered there hard by Patterson, who got the puck off. Ewald almost connected with Fischelli, would have had a step. Shira Wine lost her stick trying to play that puck, and she's going to head back to her crease with no stick. Buffs have got to get it out here, as McDonald is going to give her goaltender her stick back. And the Buffs escape that scary moment, no problem. No icing on that one. McDonald flipped it for Catan. Colorado still just looking to establish any time of possession and slow that puck down in the offensive zone. Set up some chances. Here's Piatigorsky. Piatigorsky shoots from the goal line. Loose puck. Zahn was swiping at it. D'Antoniano was a little bit out of position. Catan with it above the circles. She shoots, never got to the net. Going hard into the boards with Greenwood with Catan. Zahn went down to the ice, and then a check from behind. No penalty called. No icing again. I'm not so sure about that one, but we play on. O'Brien, nice pass connected with Amelia Sowers. Sowers never got across the blue line, and the Buffs get a change. Calling for the puck is Wensink, entering is Ella Binen. Binen lost the puck from the defense of O'Brien. And now the captain, Zoe Dupuis. Banks it to Claire Furla. Pass is too far for Hairston. As we are about 13 minutes and 22 seconds here into the second period of action, we are still scoreless, 0-0. And I guess really the way these two teams are playing right now, the question is whoever scores first, just which team is going to make a mistake first. Here's O'Brien, left circle, she shoots, save, rebound is loose, still loose. It can't get put in by Claire Furla. Best chance of the day for Colorado. Furla thrown down to the ice. Cassie Grant puts it off her teammate's skate, but she picks up the rebound. Cassie Grant working to the left side, looking for a backhand pass. Pinned down to the boards. Wallace there with Grant. Grant's going to come away with it, now looking to get it in front of the net tight for a backhand, but lost the puck. Terleska moving down to the near corner. And finally, Utah will get the puck on their stick so they can not get it out. But only for the moment. They stay with the puck and finally come out to the neutral zone. Here's Mia Fischelli, who with the strong body went right through the stick of Carlston. Carmen Manor into the right circle. She shoots, it goes over the net. And it kind of feels like that's maybe how one of these teams is going to break the ice, where someone just kind of throws a rather unassuming shot that just happens to be perfect and finds the net. Manor throws it off the skates of Grant. Kept in by Brent, who shoots, it goes wide. And it can't be kept in by Utah and LaValle. Maddie Brent across the red line and the blue line, got around Fischelli. Now Sullivan onto her. She shoots, it goes off of Shira White. Kicks up into the air. Puck is loose. Now top. Manor shoots. It was right along the ice. Didn't get a lot of mustard on it. Here's LaValle. LaValle in the slot. She shoots, and a save made by Shira Wine. Her best save of the day so far. And no better person to make that save on then Morgan LaValle. LaValle just throws it back in. Going to be icing. And the faceoff will come in front of Miranda De Antoniano. Shots are 10 apiece as we get close to the halfway point of this Saturday morning hockey game between these two top teams in the WWCHL.
Let me tell you, Baxton, it looks like Colorado's found that sense of urgency that they had last night, especially on that last series in the Utah zone. They have another chance here. So they'll look to capitalize off this draw.
Urgency is one thing, but execution is another. Colorado's got to find a way to get that passing a little cleaner. As Piatigorsky with the puck spins around and throws it to Zahn. Zahn bothered along the boards. The kick out to Grant, or to Catan, excuse me, who gets to Mitchell. Mitchell shoots, it goes off the body, rebound. Piatigorsky couldn't put it through to the net. Then losing the puck is Kendall Ketchum. The Utes have a 2-on-1. Look out. Kendall Ketchum from the left circle. She shoots. Save made by Shira Wine. Picking up the rebound is Ketchum, still for Utah. But then got pickpocketed, and the Buffs evade. Mitchell racing after the puck with Patterson. Still loose. And then Sower is able to shake a couple of Utes and get it out to neutral zone where Avizan is chasing after it. Throws it in so the Buffs can get a change. We are over halfway done in this one. Still nothing between the Buffaloes and the Utes. Kept in, Amelia Sowers. Furlow with the puck on her stick. She shoots. Save made by De Antoniano. And a great chance there for the Buffaloes. It was Claire Furla. Both these teams finding a lot more offensive generation. Loose puck turnover. Still loose. No one can get onto it. Now finally Slack puts it along the ice. Rebound. Pad save made Wine. Bit of a scary moment there for Colorado. They coughed it up right to Patterson, who was all alone between the circles. Slack keeps it in. She shoots from the left circle. It goes wide. Here's Harris. Harris lost it to O'Brien. Up ahead. Buster in the middle of a change. Treleska right out the bench. Got the puck in her skates. Now she scoots it up and throws it over to O'Brien. He slaps it ahead for Claire Furla. Furla's been out there for quite a while. Up ahead is Harris the other way. Over the red line, puts it on net. Sherwine's not going to cover up. She'll just throw it to her captain in Zoe Dupuis. Brianna Ahrens. Over the red line to Terleska, but couldn't receive that puck cleanly. It goes right back to Utah, who then ice the puck. Dupuis wins the race, and the faceoff will come out to the west side.
Another big chance for Colorado. As that Utah line must stay out. Some fresh legs come on for the Buffs. And it's the first line.
We'll see if they can bring the spark. Cassie Grant flipped it down. Fischelli and Ewald were a little congested, and now all the forwards are to the left side of the ice. They've got to recalibrate. And Ewald keeps it in. Good stick. Masiello to meet Fischelli. Fischelli between the circles. She shoots. Glove save made. De Antoniano. What strength by Mia Fischelli. Ripping off those defenders that were on her, where was able to get a good shot on.
Fischelli just doing her thing, as she has all season with this first line. Beautiful opportunity, just could not sneak it past.
Fischelli with 32 points on the season as she takes another shot.
Right between the legs of a defender. Beautiful shot again by Fischelli. That's easily swallowed up by
The entire Buffalo's bench continuing to sing Lady Gaga as the music cuts out at the rink, sounding like Ballerina after they play some Blink 182. Mia Fischelli has 32 points on the season, got goal number 20 last night, a career high. With 32 points, if she gets that 33rd, it would tie her career high and her point total from last season. Face off won by Colorado. McDonald slaps it down. Goes right to Morgan LaValle. Who left the puck to Masiello. Fighting for it. Down in the corner. A lot of sticks and skates just swiping at it. Ewald's going to be the one to escape with the puck. The pass in front, loose puck. Fischelli couldn't find it. And Utah ices it. Great shift for this first line. The second line is going to come out. But Fischelli, Masiello, and Ewald, great A chances for them.
Absolutely. It's going to be incredible. Looks like the first line's going to head off, but Piatigorsky and company heading on for Colorado. And yeah, this Utes line, once again, it's pretty gassed at this point.
Utah wins the draw. Then it's kept in by Zoe Dupuis, but it kicked off her skate, off her helmet, and into the lap of one of her teammates.
And right into the lap of Fischelli off that deflection. Dupuis didn't know where it was for a second. Looks in, it's like almost spawned into that bench. Dupuis looking a lot more disciplined than last night. First couple, she had like 3 penalties assessed last night. That was pretty rough to see. The first 2 were kind of suspect, as you all talked about on the broadcast last night. Third one was pretty blatant.
The faceoff will be in the offensive zone for Colorado. Piatigorsky wins the draw. Zoe Dupuis shoots, rebound, and just sent aside. Now the other way with some speed. Here's Smith. The Utes are onside. Ketchum put a shot off the stick of a defender. Now with it, looking for a wraparound. Sowers ahead to Abigail Zahn, who backhands it to Catan. Catan over the blue line, got multiple Utes on her. Dupuis is there. She shoots, but never got anything on it as she was thrown down to the ice by a Ute. O'Brien keeps it in. One of the Utah players lost their glove. It was Claire Slack who then recovered and now has the puck. Backhanded it. Try to connect. I think we're going to get a penalty. Yeah, Claire Furla is going to head to the box for slashing.
This is the first penalty of the night, if I'm not mistaken, Paxton. So Furla heading to, it's going to be Utah heading to the box.
Oh, you're right.
It's Addison Greenwood, defenseman from Anchorage, Alaska. You know, lots of players from the far north here, and it's not often that we see players coming down here from Alaska, but it's cool to see for sure.
One of multiple Alaskans on this Utah team. Here's the great chance for Colorado. Over to Ewald, who just sails it over the net. First unit out for the Buffaloes. Masiello out to Fischelli in her spot. Fischelli shoots. Couldn't get deflected by Piatigorsky. Masiello back to Natalie Ewald, looking to put it back up top, but she changes course. Over to Masiello, who put it back. Now Kieran Sullivan. Sullivan shoots. Kicks up and over the net. Masiello pinned along the boards by Fish. Now loose puck. Piatigorsky threw it right into the pads of D'Antoniano. Masiello through the skates of Piatigorsky. Keeping it in is Mia Fischelli. Fischelli leaves it for Kieran Sullivan. Sullivan shoots. Save. Rebound is loose. And doing the splits is D'Antoniano, reaching out to cover it up with the glove. 1:08 to go in this power play. The Buffaloes are 13.1% on the season when they're a man up. The Utah Utes are an even 85% on the kill. Second unit out for Colorado. Wallace to Dupuis. Dupuis to Catan. Catan with space in the left circle. She's going to take a shot, and the glove save made. Holding on is De Antoniano.
Colorado very quick with these line changes on this power play, getting that second line out there, giving them a shot. Arns in for the draw.
Face off, kicks out to Zoe Dupuis, who throws it right down to Amanda Wallace. Wallace, cross-ice pass, connects with O'Brien. O'Brien shaking some defenders and then shoots it off of the legs of a defender. Good clear by Utah and racing after this Merriweather. Hot on the tail of Zoe Dupuis. But Dupuis skates right around her, no problem. Now up ahead the other way. Utes a little behind the play, trying to get there in time. Now O'Brien. O'Brien ahead of the circles, puts it over the net. Wallace picks up the rebound. She shoots on the turnaround shot, and holding on is De Antoniano. 21 seconds to go in the Greenwood slash. First unit is going to come back out for Colorado to finish this thing out. Colorado went 0 for 2 on the power play last night. And then the night before that, they went, or the last weekend, I should say, before that, they went 0 for 6 in the 2-1 loss. A shot from Fischelli is a save made. Still loose. McDonald just couldn't get her stick on it to put a shot on. Now she shoots loose. Puck went through the legs of Masiello. Biden clears, and that is going to do it for the power play of Colorado. Icing waved off, and the first one there is Carlston. From her butt, or Fish, she shoots, save made. Fischelli to Ewald. Ewald to Masiello. And the Buffs give chase. It's going to kick up to Carlston, who is able to clear. It might not get all the way to the goal line. It doesn't, so no icing. O'Brien. Thrown back in by Utah, playing with the stick as Wine, who leaves it for McDonald. Ahead to Anna Masiello. Throws it right off of Ashley Patterson. Kept in. Patterson staying with that puck, only for the moment. Now it's over to Zeschuk, who then flipped it up and out of the zone herself. Morgan LaValle gets around Masiello. Now working around O'Brien. She's got room. Shot! Save made by Wine. Rebound. Puck is behind the net. Ewald able to swipe it out to the near side. Brent throws it down to Carlston. Zeschuk bringing some help. Up top, here's LaValle. LaValle shoots. Save made by Shira Wine, and she holds on. Outstanding chance for Utah. Looking to finally open the scoring as we are 2 minutes and 5 seconds remaining in the second. Piatagorski loses the face-off. And then a big hit from Abby Zahn on to Clara Slack. Ketchum wasn't able to shake the defenders that were on her. Minute 40 to go in this 0-0 hockey game. Out comes Haley Smith on the near side. Utah finding a little bit of momentum after that kill. Slack backhands it in, was just too far for Alexa Catan, who would have intercepted that and had a breakaway. Sowers leaves it for Izzy Mitchell. Mitchell shoots, and having to make a tough pad or blocker save was De Antoniano. Staying with it is Colorado. But Furla coughed up the puck, and it goes to Carmen Manor. Terleska there with LaValle, and Terleska gets the puck in front to Sowers, who didn't put it on. Now Mitchell, she shoots, glove save made. Puck is still loose, never covering up. Was D'Antoniano until she does so just now. 41.4 to go in the second period. The face-off will come to the right of D'Antoniano, who has made all 16 saves. Ahrens on the face-off, wins it. Terleska shoots those right along the ice, no problem for D'Antoniano. Amanda Wallace has been just slipping and sliding all over the ice in both of these games. You can see all the snow on her pants. Terleska across the blue line, throws it off a skate of a Ute. And now into the skates of Carlston. She didn't know it was there. Dupuis with a bomb from the point, it goes wide. 6 seconds and 5 seconds to go in the second period. Colorado gonna get one last shot of O'Brien's gonna put it on, and it never got to the net. That does it for 40 minutes of action. We are still scoreless here on this Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon now. It is 12:21 p.m. And Kieran, a lot better offensive chances for both these teams, but they're not really coming in the form of sustained possessions as much as they are just rushes and kind of, loose plays, broken plays that unfold right in front of the net.
Certainly. I mean, there's so many great chances for Colorado especially to capitalize. They had some draws in the offensive zone. They had that power play, got the first line out there, but, I mean, they just couldn't sneak it past D'Arnuno. I mean, it was just overall another kind of rough period. The energy that we talked about, that intensity that we kind of saw last night is starting to pick up a little bit right now, but hasn't translated into getting pucks into the back of the net. The same goes for Utah.
Yeah, both these teams have definitely waken up. We see that they had that urgency that you were talking about, but now it's just about execution for both these teams, and both these teams kind of struggling to really slow the play down and, calm the puck down and really set up clean passes and smooth zone entries and smooth offensive possession. So we'll see how they recover in the third period, how they change that and move forward, see which team is going to finally get on the board. I think it might be a 1-0 game. We'll see.
I mean, at this rate, that's what it's looking like. But, I mean, the third period, Colorado's, they've been full of surprises in the later periods of the games they played here at home this season. And we'll see what Utah can pull out. Obviously, they want to walk away with a series split this weekend, maintain their spot in the WWCHL at that number 1 seed, because the league, or this conference, once again, the race is getting pretty interesting.
That does it for 2 periods of action here at the Rec Center. It is 0-0. A couple of goose eggs for both these teams. We'll see who will be the first and maybe only team to score in this one. We'll get back to you for the third period here on Scope Buff Sports.
It's ever.
The Buffs will go on the road to play the Houston Cougars next Wednesday. Houston is just 1-9 in their last 10 games and sits 7-15 overall. The Buffs will look to slow down the Cougars' offense with their methodical defense. Tip-off is set for 5:30 p.m. and will be streamed live on ESPN+.
Sophomore forward Tabitha Betson is a big part of the Buff squad should they make the NCAA tournament. And after a quick leave of absence, she's back and better than ever. Here's Jake Chow with the scoop.
Head coach J.R. Payne and the Colorado women's basketball team is living life on the bubble.
The 2026 squad looks nothing like the 2025 team, with only 4 returners, including sophomore forward Tabitha Betson, who has taken a step forward.
Tabitha is one of the most versatile players on our team. I think she's leading us in three-point field goal percentage. She's just a really smart player. She's played at a high level back home in Australia and here in the U.S. And, you know, as a veteran of the team, being here last year, she understands our system and the things that we're looking for and the way that we do things. And she's been a really critical piece to our success this year.
I feel like being one of like the 3 kind of returners is like a kind of a big deal, you know, especially with all these new people trying to kind of like set the scene of what the coaches want. I think going home and then coming back kind of like took me a little step back in that, obviously, because I'm new back into the group again. But I think very quickly they were like, no, you know what you're supposed to be doing, you know what they're supposed to be doing, so kind of take on that role. Which is what I've been doing more recently.
Betson took some time away from Boulder to visit her family back in Melbourne, Australia, as she thought about the next steps in her life. But at its center, basketball never left.
I think it honestly refocused me in terms of like figuring out, okay, basketball is really like what I want, and it's such a big part of myself.
And so it was like she never left Boulder. Despite that overhauled roster and the new faces, Betson and the Buffs never faltered.
You know, for a new player that's coming back in the middle of the season, you know, I didn't have any concerns, but I think she was a little bit worried just, you know, she's new and everyone's been here.
I was like, okay, like how is the team gonna feel about me going and coming back? But honestly, they were really welcoming.
Betson will be a key for the Buffs, should they pop their madness bubble as they make a run towards March.
They were a huge part of it. They definitely were like, she is a part of our team. Like she is really important to kind of like leadership and like on-court stuff as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to have her back, you know, for lots of different reasons. You know, for her leadership and composure and experience. And she's also just a really good player.
I was really close with like Jade last year, and she's a huge part of our team, huge part of our offense, and just her like immediate like acceptance and valuing what I'm saying and playing with me. I think that also helps set the tone with like other people as well.
This is Jake Chow reporting for Go Buff Sports.
She's done a great job of, like I said, keeping us organized, communicating through, you know, problem solving on the floor.
Colorado Lacrosse kicks off his season this Monday with a big game against the number 2 ranked Northwestern Wildcats. The Buffs are 1-5 all time against the Wildcats with a 20-5 loss in their matchup last season. Northwestern fell just short of the national championship last season, falling to North Carolina 12-8 in the final. The Buffs will have their work cut out for them, and CU will head to Martin Stadium in Evanston, Illinois, an arena it has never won in, to battle the Wildcats at 6 p.m., streamed live on Big Ten Plus.
Colorado heads into this season predicted to place 3rd in the Big 12. Well, disappeared for lacrosse and had 4 players earn Big 12 preseason honors. Jess Peluso won preseason co-defender of the year. Elena O took home preseason goalie of the year, while Maddie Shoup and Lily Assini made preseason All Big 12, along with Peluso and O. Buff fans will get their first chance to see those 4 and more in person on February 15th against the Cornell Bears at Prentup Field. CU won't play its first conference game against March 28th against San Diego State at home.
The Buff ski team nearly completed a remarkable comeback at the Nevada Invitational, rallying from a 61-point deficit to pull within 8 points of Utah by the end of the meet. Colorado surged during the giant slalom events behind a dominant showing where the CU men swept the podium for the first time in a decade to score a perfect 111 points. Nordic teams return to action next weekend at the Denver Invitational, now at the Frisco Nordic Center this Saturday.
And the opening ceremony has finally begun for the 2026 Milano Cortina Olympics. 8 Buffs are participating in this year's games, 2 of whom are current CU athletes. Hugo Hinkvist and Jacob Mak will compete in the Nordic skiing for Teams Australia and Germany, respectively. Estonia's Alvar Alev will join Hinkvist and Mak on the Nordic Trail. Canada's Cass Gray will join USA's Ryder Sarchit on the Alpine slopes. Sarchit was part of the Buffs' 2024 National Championship winning team and is the first male alpine skier from CU in nearly 30 years. USA's Stacey Gaskill will take part in snowboarding, Sway Irving in freeski, and Joanne Reed in biathlon.
All right, everybody, and now it is time for this week's trivia question. 8 Olympians are representing the Buffs at this year's Olympic Games in Milano Cortina. And our question for you this week, what year saw the most Buffs compete in the Winter Olympics? We'll have that answer for you later in the show.
Welcome to Folsom Feud. I'm your host, Colby, here with 3 contestants today, Lincoln, Balin, and Kieran. Lincoln, start us off.
I'll take game day etiquette for 200.
All right. This is the best way to show respect during the CU fight song.
What is standing, singing loud, and raising your hand in the hook 'em horn sign?
Not what we're looking for. Balin, you have an answer?
What is stand up, sing loud, and do the Ralphie horns?
Correct. Balin, the board is yours.
Give me tailgate traditions for 400.
All right, here's the answer. The must-have item to wear on game day to show your Buff pride. Kieran?
What is black and gold?
That's correct. Nothing says school spirit like those 2 colors. Choose the next one.
Let's do fan etiquette for 600.
Fan etiquette. The proper response when you hear someone yell, "Go Buffs."
What is Skull Buffs?
Skull Buffs is right. Looks like we've got some true Buffs fans here. But thank you all for tuning in. Thank you to our contestants, and see you next time.
The women's golf squad did not have a great start to their spring season, placing 10th out of 12 teams at the Collegiate Invitational at Guadalajara, Mexico. Ellen O'Shaughnessy finished the tournament 3 over and tied for 15th place. She was the highest placing Buff of the tournament and recorded the only round under par for the team. All other members of the Colorado quintet finished 11 over or worse, plummeting the total score to 39 over on the weekend. The Buffs traveled to Tucson, Arizona to compete in the Thunderbird Intercollegiate starting on Monday.
Buffs track and field is back in action today, and this time it's right here at home. The annual Colorado Classic is taking place in Boulder at the Ford Practice Facility, one of the Buffs' key indoor home meets of the season. Field events got underway at noon today, while the track athletes will look to build on their strong starts to the season. Tomorrow. The men's distance squad currently holds the top spot in the NCAA Indoor Mile. Fans can find out if it can keep that momentum going tomorrow at 11 a.m. in the Ford Practice Facility.
Last weekend, the tennis team defeated Miami of Ohio 6-1 to improve to 3-0 on the season. However, the team then traveled to Denver on Sunday, where they suffered their first loss 4-2 against the Pios. CU is still undefeated in doubles play, but its efforts in singles matchups fell just short of DU's. Tennis has this weekend to rest before traveling to Minneapolis to take on 3 different opponents next weekend.
CU women's hockey is in a bit of a tough stretch late in the regular season. The Buffs lost both games last weekend to the Utah Utes, both by a score of 2-1. But they have a chance to turn it around and get revenge on the Utes at home this weekend. The Buffs play tonight at 5 on Hockey Fights Cancer Night and Saturday morning on Youth Hockey Day. Those games will be streamed live on ScoBuff Sports, so stay tuned.
The regular season may be finished for men's D2 hockey, but the playoffs are just getting started. This Saturday at 3, Colorado will face off against either the University of Wyoming or Colorado State. The Cowboys and Rams will play against each other on Friday night at 8 p.m. in Fort Collins, the winner earning the 4th spot in the Big Mountain Hockey Conference Tournament to play against the first-time conference championship Buffs. Saturday's game will be at the CU Rec Ice Rink and streamed live right here on ScoBuff Sports on YouTube.
Men's D1 hockey is still in the regular season and plays its penultimate home series this weekend against San Diego State. The Buffs and Aztecs sit at the bottom of the Western Collegiate Hockey League standings, with CU in 10th and SDSU in 11th. Colorado has lost 4 in a row and is 2-8 in his last 10 games, but it wasn't all bad as CU was able to break its New Year scoreless streak in its 2-game series against Missouri State. Puck drop against the Aztecs is at 8 p.m. on Friday and 7 on Saturday, with both games at the Rec and right here on ScoBuff Sports.
We're just a few days away from Super Bowl 60, the big game in Santa Clara. Sunday's game will feature one former Colorado Buffalo on the NFL's biggest stage. Brady Russell, class of 2023, is the current fullback and a backup tight end for the Seattle Seahawks. He also serves as the special teams captain of the franchise. Russell is the first alum to represent the program since Isaiah Oliver in Super Bowl 58. Despite several alumni to play in the past few years, no former Buff has been on a championship-winning roster since Nate Soldier with the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 53. Christian Gonzalez, New England's top cornerback, also spent 2 seasons with the Buffaloes before transferring to Oregon, where he became a future first-round draft pick.
Hey Buff fans, I'm Kieran Walker bringing you this week's top 5 plays in Colorado sports. A bit of a lull in the action again this weekend, but nonetheless, we're still got some stuff to cover, so let's dive right in. Going to number 5, we go to women's hoops against West Virginia. Desiree Woot off the fast break. She'll get that open layup right over the defender for the Mountaineers. Let's get a slow-mo look at that going up that right side, laying it up. Boom, ladies and gentlemen, off that fast break. What a play. The Buffs only down by 3. Let's go to men's hoops now for number 4, this time against the Baylor Bears. Tough game here, but it's stolen by Josiah Sanders, and he's going to send it over to Jalen Holland, who launches for 3, and he gets it from downtown, right between the eyes. That was a tough game against Baylor, though, I will admit. Let's go to women's hockey now for number 3. It's picked up by Sophie O'Brien going up that far side of the rink. Takes a shot. Rebound in by Fischelli. She tips it in right out in front. What a play. And that game is tied at 1. Tough series, though. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Pro Bowl. Look, it's Shedeur Sanders and Garrett Bowles. You can't keep him out of the end zone. Ladies and gentlemen, Bowles' second touchdown of the game for the AFC. And just look at this. Sanders, tremendous accuracy, and Bowles making that tremendous catch. I don't think I've ever seen a lineman score a touchdown, but it's the Pro Bowl. Anything can happen. Now for number 1 now, let's go over to Isaiah Johnson. And the Dak attack! A monster slam for Bangot Dak against the TCU Horned Frogs right here in Boulder. Huge win for Colorado. That's going to do it for this week here on Scoba Sports Play of the Week. I'm Kieran Walker, wishing you a wonderful weekend.
Here we see Xavier McNevitz working on his reader for the live show. If we didn't have these readers done by Thursday night, chances are we would not be airing this show right now. Be like Xavier. Get your readers done. And don't forget to click save so that you don't lose any of your hard-earned work.
Well, I don't know if you have any plans Sunday morning at 3:30 a.m., but if you do, you're going to need to cancel them because this is rapid fire. Starting off tomorrow, Saturday, we got the Colorado Classic indoor track and field event. It's going all day long. You're not going to want to miss any of the track or the field. After that, we're going to have men's basketball taking on Arizona.
Zero to 0 is the score between the Colorado Buffaloes and the Utah Utes. Looking to break that ice first and potentially walk away from the weekend with a big win. Welcome into the final period of action here on Scope of Sports. I'm Paxton Haynes, joined as always by Kieran Warger. And Kieran, both these teams a lot better in the second period than that first, but still nothing on the board. What do you want to see from both these teams to see who can finally find the net first?
I love what you said earlier, Paxton. I mean, you've got a chance, you've got some setups, but the execution is not there. That's what I want to see this period from both squads. Colorado looking for a series sweep after playing this team last weekend in Salt Lake, but tonight they have not been able to put any points on the board, and we're still scoreless after 40 minutes of play. So capitalization and execution is what I want to see this period.
Absolutely. The starting 5 is going to be out there for Colorado. Puck is down and won by Utah. We are underway. It is tied in the third period. No better words. As here comes Carlson, who's loose in front of the net. Rebound, save made by Wine. Shira Wine, just incredible, not picking up right where she left off from last night. And still solid today.
My goodness.
Masiello wasn't able to clear. Then into the skates of Ewald. Finally poked out by Colorado. Here's Anna Masiello had the puck on the stick. Masiello down to Fischelli in the corner. Mia Fischelli turns, shoots, and a save made. Piatagorski able to keep that puck in, weaves around the defender and finds some space ahead of that left circle. She shoots, pad save made. still with it. Piatagorski banks it to Cassie Grant, went to her skates, and she wasn't able to get that puck onto her stick before Utah cleared it. Sullivan leaves it for Piatagorski, and then it gets slapped back to Kieran Sullivan. Over to Zahn. Zahn looking for a shot with the backhand. It goes off the side of the net. Catan on the far side. Up top to Cassie Grant. Grant slides it to Sullivan. Sullivan shoots. Rebound, and Catan couldn't put the wood on it to put it through. Getting there first is Carlson for Utah on the chase. Looking for a pass, and then got the puck taken away. Wensink whiffed on the shot and then carries it over across the blue line herself. Catan to Sowers, who throws it right into her own bench. Almost hit her head coach in the head.
That was a close one for sure. Talk about that last series. I mean, Alexa Cadden off that rebound, was not able to get there in time. A beautiful setup, but just improper execution.
It was a wide open net for her. One I'm sure she wants back. CU wins the draw. Looking to free themselves. Puck battle down by the half wall. And finally CU gets out to that red line. Sowers across and gets thrown into the ice. She draws a penalty. Colorado's going to be on the power play. No whistle blown. They're going to continue to play on. There was a little bit of a puck battle, but they're saying that Utah did not touch up. Furla just throws it all the way to the other end of the ice. Shira Wine has entered the bench. 6 Buffaloes are on. Buffs are going to be 6-on-5, followed by a 5-on-4 power play as Izzy Mitchell loses the puck. Utah touches up.
Second power play on the day for Colorado. As Haley Smith heads to the box. Forward from Arvada, Colorado. Lots of Coloradans on this team as well, Paxton. I mean, it's kind of interesting to come home to your home state playing against your arch rival from the Rumble in the Rockies, and coming back here playing in your, not exactly your home rink, but your home state is pretty surreal.
Mia Fischelli to Masiello. Or the puck get away from her for a little bit. She receives in Krause. Masiello. She shoots. Save made. Rebound. Masiello fighting for it, and Utah is able to clear. Wine grabs that puck and leaves it for her captain. 30 seconds have already gone off in the Smith penalty. Into the skates of Fischelli was that pass. And then Zezchuk is going to get there first on the penalty kill. Thrown to the boards by Dupuis, and then Dupuis and Ewald were all over her. Got the puck off quickly. And now Colorado just trying to get out of their own zone. Utah on the forecheck, but now here comes Piatagorski into Utah's zone. Piatagorski leaves it for Fischelli. Fischelli shoots and scores! Mia Fischelli, point number 33 on the season. That ties her career high, and Colorado has finally broken the ice. They're up.
There it is. That's what we've been waiting for all day. Paxton Fischelli tying her all-time score for 33 points this season. Holy cow. And just like that, the scoring drought for both squads is broken. 1-0 Colorado, 16:20 to go in period number 3.
You kind of feel it coming on that power play a little bit. You give Fischelli that much room and that much time to work with. She will make you pay every single time. Colorado has finally put one onto the board. It is 1-0 in this one. Would be a huge victory for Colorado to split the season series against the conference leaders in Utah. 15 minutes and 50 seconds to go. We'll see how Colorado changes the way they play, if at all, now with a lead. Terleska lost the puck, had Utes all over her. And out comes Merriweather. Merriweather just gains the red line and dumps it onto the net of Shira Wine. She won't freeze it and leave it for Dupuis, who throws it to Piatigorsky. Piatigorsky working out of the zone, connects with Terleska. Terleska lost the puck, who then coughed it up in their own zone, but the shot from Terleska got deflected. Fish and Carlston, along with some other youths, looking to get that puck out. They just chip it out, and it comes out to Zoe Dupuis, who makes a nice bank pass to Alexa Catan, excuse me. I finally started saying her last name right a couple weekends ago, and then, I don't know, force of habit. Zoe Dupuis, that pass does not find the stick of Abizan, and it is icing on Colorado. Following this game, men's D2 will be playing some playoff hockey here in Boulder as they face off against the Wyoming Cowboys. Wyoming got a big 4-1 win over Colorado State last night and earned the right to play CU today here in Boulder. They had to go from Laramie to Boulder in the span of just a few hours to get ready for this one. I imagine they will be pretty tired coming off a big game as Sowers thrown down to the ice. It's going to be another penalty on Utah. Colorado going right back to the power play.
That's exactly what they wanted. They're in prime position to make this a 2-0 game as that first line comes back out. And yeah, Sowers skated right up into traffic. There's just kind of an unfortunate situation for the Utes as they didn't go back down. And Kendall Ketchum's going to head to the box.
Ketchum is going to take 2 minutes to think about what she's done. First unit is out for Colorado. A 2-goal lead would be huge for CU. Fischelli in her spot. Over to Masiello. Masiello threw to Piatigorsky and Ewald, who were both in front of the net, but it didn't get with either of them. Now Ewald, she shoots, it goes wide. Piatigorsky slows it down to Fischelli, back to Masiello. Anna Masiello working down in the corner, changes course. Looking for a cross-ice pass. Too many bodies in the way. Ewald back up top to the captain. Over to Natalie Ewald, cross-ice pass, and in the way of that one was Sonia Sharman. Utah clears, 40 seconds have gone off in the third power play opportunity of the day for Colorado. They're 1 for 2. Fischelli up along the near side. She gets around Slack and saves with that puck. Loose puck in front of the net. Masiello put 2 shots on and both were saved by D'Antognano. Up top, here's Sullivan. Kieran Sullivan back to Masiello. Sullivan, she shoots, and a glove save made by D'Antognano.
Kieran Sullivan right down the slot, tried to get it from deep, from the point. Just couldn't sneak it past as it's swallowed up immediately by D'Antognano.
53 seconds left to go in the power play. The second unit will come out for Colorado. Here's Wallace. Wallace shoots, but Aaron Stick was in the way from getting to the net, looking for a deflection. Now Catan to Sullivan, who leaves it for Wallace. Wallace slips and falls. We've got a funny story about that one. We'll tell you at the break. Wallace still with the puck to Catan. Catan spinning around, trying to find some space for herself, but a good poke check there by Carlston. 20 seconds left to go in the power play. O'Brien couldn't get the puck out. Now Merriweather is in all alone in Colorado's end. Sullivan looking for a pass. Just slowly bank it, but a good connection with Sophie O'Brien, who enters the zone. O'Brien leaves it for Wallace. Wallace grabbing that puck and throws it down back to O'Brien. O'Brien trying to put it in front of the net. Loose puck. Sowers flips it out. Wallace sent into the boards. Now it's Morgan Valley. Penalty is over. We're back to 5-on-5. Colorado 1 for 3 on the day. A minute 50 11 minutes and 50 seconds to go in this 1-0 hockey game. Colorado leads. Mitchell to Sullivan, who couldn't team up with Furla. Now Sowers. Kept in by Utah. Sowers grabs it and flips it behind Claire Furla. Puck chips up and heads in Colorado's bench. And Amanda Wallace just... We at the intermission, we had a nice, fun conversation with Amanda Wallace's mom about how she told her daughter to get her skates sharpened, but she didn't listen, and it is very clear that she needs to get those skates sharpened because she is just slipping and sliding all over the place. Nice save made by Wine.
So, Amanda, if you're listening, listen to your mama.
Piatagorski shoots and scores! Abigail Piatagorski, bar down. Colorado's up 2-0.
My goodness, Piatagorski coming down the opposite way and sneaks it right over the shoulder of D'Antiano. And oh my goodness, what a play. Colorado on top by 2, 11:05 to go in period number 3.
What a wicked wrister from Abigail Piatagorski. It is her 7th of the season. It had been a few games since he put one into the back of the net. But my goodness, Piatagorski makes this a 2-goal game on a sweet shot. It's her first year on the team, and she is going to be a staple of this Buffalo squad for the future. Centering that second line already as a rookie. And on that first power play unit, save made by D'Antiano. Fischelli they're hard on the forecheck. Masiello bringing her some help. To Dupuis. Dupuis shoots, save made, and D'Antiano holds on.
Masiello took a little bit of a check. It was 10 versus 10 from Aspen Edwards. Looks like almost got into a scrum, but they'll separate it quickly.
Funny enough, in the men's D1 game last night, as far as these ACHA men's D1 games go, last night I thought it was pretty calm. Normally we're seeing a lot more scrapping and clawing between the two teams, but they were pretty tame. We'll see how that changes today, or tonight rather, for senior night. Morgan LaValle. A little bit of an errant pass. And Colorado takes over. Here's Natalie Ewald. Ewald gains the zone with Biden on her. Finding some space, she shoots. Rebound is loose between the circles, and Terleska a little late getting there. Terleska on the forecheck, keeps that puck in for the moment. Heads all the way around to the far side. Kept in Claire Furla. Terleska to Wallace. It heads out to O'Brien. And a save made by D'Antiano. Dupuis looking to head right back in. Utah's in the middle of a change. Zoe Dupuis to Ahrens. Ahrens, rebound. And it stays out of the net. Both teams were in the middle of a partial change. Dupuis and Ahrens came in. Dupuis went with a backhand pass, went right into the skates of Brianna Ahrens. She had to kind of fight it off and was just able to put something on. But sprawling out in her crease was D'Antiano to make the save.
I will say both squads keeping their discipline about them. I mean, I can't really say the same for Utah as they've had 2 penalties so far here today, but 3 rather, that is. But Colorado have been very disciplined so far, despite a little bit, much more physicality entering this 3rd period.
Hairston is looking for Furla in front of the net. And Utah gets it up and out to the neutral zone. Sullivan throwing it right back in. Played by the stick of D'Antiano. Zazchuk looks around before she swipes at it and gets nothing but air. Kept in by Colorado. Sullivan puts it wide. Sowers had the puck get away from her a little bit. Now chipped up, down by the corner. And out comes Utah. Carlston gets around Zahn, but struggling to get around Cassie Grant, who does a nice job taking care of that zone entry. Eight minutes and 12 seconds left to go here on Youth Hockey Day. We had a nice ceremony before the game with the Peak to Peak U16 team coming out with the starting lineup of the Buffaloes. And they were all here earlier watching the game. Grant finds Piatigorsky, trying to flip it up and out to Fur. Fur's been out there forever. Finally getting the change. LaValle kicks out to Megan Fisher, and the stretch pass couldn't quite calm down onto the blade of Canton Harris. McDonald slides it over to Grant. That puck was rather rambunctious, and so Cassie Grant said, "Get it away from me." Kept in. Morgan LaValle finding some space in the slot now. She shoots, and it goes wide of the net. A slapper. That one not even close. LaValle picks it up. Throwing it back down. Grant put hard into the boards. And Shirowine will calm it down by freezing the puck. Under 7 minutes to go here in this 2-0 hockey game. Colorado looking for their 13th win of the season. It'd be a really big one after this. They have a 2-game series against the DU Pioneers, and it'll be split at home between the two arenas as Anna Masiello, my goodness, just bullying Kendall Ketchum, and then put a shot on net that had to get fought off by the Antoniano. Kept in, Natalie Ewald. Ewald, she shoots, and it goes off a stick and gets thrown up into the screen. Anna Masiello, what a play by her.
Oh my goodness. Avoids the trip, gets right back to her feet. Tried to get a shot off, and that rebound just wasn't there. Shelley in the vicinity just couldn't get there in time. Holy cow. First line stays out.
Shelley's been working on that faceoff dot today, and she's been doing pretty well. And she won that faceoff, but then the shot went wide, and Utah picks it up. Dupuis to her D partner, who throws it right into the bench of Utah. A couple of the girls will have a word with Sophie O'Brien. Shelley's got to pull her away. Face-off will be in front of that Utah bench. Ewald now on the dot. Face-off a little tied up right between the legs of Natalie Ewald, who then spun around on her way down to the ice, but made a nice pass out of it. Ewald gets free, but a whistle blows. Not sure. I think they said offsides, but I do not know about that one, Kieran.
That was close. Natalie Ewald in disbelief down there as they'll come back out to neutral territory. Fresh lines, fresh legs will come out for both squads.
Natalie Ewald had a lot of room.
Yeah, very questionable call. We've seen, that was kind of the first questionable call of the day, I'd say, Paxton.
Shots are in favor of Colorado, 22-17. As a nice move by Ariel Carlston gets in. She throws it wide and picks up her own rebound. Up top for Fish. He slides it over to Edwards. Back to Fish. Fish looking for a deflection, but it never got there. Edwards throwing it off the glass to Carlston. Taken care of by Zoe Dupuis, who enters the zone herself. Only for the moment. As Brianna Ahrens got thrown into the boards there by Megan Fish. The puck is not going to get there in time for icing. Now Amelia Sowers, one of the better skaters on this team, trying to work around LaValle, and she does so effectively. Gets it up top. Looks like McDonald He throws it down to Sowers. Sowers to Hairston. Hairston having to receive that puck a little awkwardly. And she lost it. Now Sonia Sharman up the near side, or far side, excuse me, lost the puck right in the slot and would have had a great chance if she didn't cough it up. 4:45 left to go in this game. Colorado holding on to a 2-0 lead. That backhand shot goes wide. Colorado trying to force it out of their own zone. A shot from Zeschuk is covered up, no problem, by Shira Wine. Her 18th save of the day. It is now 1 p.m. in beautiful Boulder, Colorado. And I say beautiful, I mean beautiful. I mean, it is a balmy, like 65 degrees outside. Has been a really nice weekend and end of the week.
That's an understatement, Paxton. It's been incredible. I mean, unseasonably warm for sure. Would we like some winter weather in Colorado? Sure, but we'll take this.
Catan lets it rip, pad save. Up the other way, Carmen Manor. Trying to force herself around Dupuis, now leaves a backhand pass. In the slot, getting free, she shoots, save made by Shira Wine. Ketchum, put it right into the skates of Dupuis, who kicks it out to the far side. Cadden is there. And Colorado takes care of that offensive chance for Utah.
Excellent chance, or excuse me, effort by Shira Wine. She's able to make that stick save. Hasn't allowed a single point so far today. And she's looking to keep that streak alive. 3.5 to go.
Natalie Ewald. Hard into the zone as the rest of her teammates get a change. Trying to stall that puck so that she can get some reinforcements. Does so pretty well, still working really hard on that forecheck. Got thrown down into the ice. No call, we're gonna play on. Thought it might have been checked from behind. Kieran Sullivan in there, working hard with Merriweather. But the Buffs come away with the puck. Natalie Ewald throws it in, so she and Masiello can get a change, excuse me. 2:40 to go in this one. Sophie O'Brien slowing up, looking for someone to dish it to. And Utah comes up and out to the neutral zone. Terleska swipes her stick at the puck to force it back into the zone, and then Arns was there to meet at the blue line. Wensink trying to get past the forechecking of Terleska and Arns, but they do an excellent job keeping the puck in. Wallace puts a hit on. McDonald, that shot never got through. Sullivan right back in, rolling along the top of the boards. Under 2 minutes to go on this one. Getting free is Hairston. She shoots, the puck is loose. And Utah escapes.
Utah making a lot of quick changes in the final 2 minutes of this period, trying to make something happen.
Puck stays in, here's Patterson. A shot, score. Utah is finally on the board. Late in this one, it's Sonia Sharman who just got it past wide, and Utah makes it a 1-goal game late.
Just over 90 seconds to go in period number 3, and what a rip right past Shira Wine from Utah. Incredible goal. With Sonia Sharman on the last play. It looks like Colorado's going to call a timeout.
It's Utah doing the honors. As they've now suddenly made this a hockey game. Here with a minute 36 to go in this one. Shira Wine had made all 18 saves before that one. And Coach Wilburn will talk it over with her team. Feels like Utah kind of getting that momentum. Colorado maybe getting a little complacent as we were getting down to the final minutes of the game. They were up 2. Now they've got to hold on. Here only up 1.
Yeah, those first 40 minutes of action, we didn't see a single point on the board. It's all third period for both of these squads. It took them 40 minutes of ice time to wake up and find their rhythm. And just like that, we've got a hockey game here. It's 2-1.
Shira Wine made 21 saves last night and has 18 so far in this one. She has very much kept Colorado in the leading position, has made incredible saves down the stretch, especially in this third period. We'll see what Utah wants to do, if they plan to pull D'Antoniano from the net or not. The starting 5 will be out there for Colorado. We'll see if they spend the rest of the game on the ice. Similarly, it's the first line, or the second line, excuse me, for Utah. The faceoff is won by the Utes, but it comes all the way behind the net of D'Antoniano. Bynen's there, but couldn't corral that puck. Loose in the neutral zone. Trying to kick it to herself is Maddie Brent. But the Buffs are able to throw it out to Morgan LaValle. LaValle to Bynon. Fischelli was in there hard trying to intercept that pass. Now Zoe Dupuis lost the puck to Sharman. Sharman in tight. Save made by Shira Wine, and she holds on. Excellent timely save from Shira Wine. Keeps Buffalo on top.
What a stop by Wine out in front. Utah, it's probably, I'm sure this is what they discussed here during that timeout. They want to get up in Wine's kitchen, trying to sneak it past, and they nearly did there, but she's able to swallow it up that time, and they've got 60 seconds to tie this game.
Utah has pulled their goalie. 6 Utes on the ice. Face-off is tied up. Utah looking to be the one. They just throw it down so they can get a little bit of space. O'Brien fighting for that puck, getting some help from Piatigorsky. An excellent job getting out of the zone by Colorado. Right back in is Sonia Sharman. Puck just hanging out the blue line, but then Bynon touched it before it came across. Utah is offsides. 37.7 to go. Things are getting tight right now. Preview of Men's D2, the playoffs, coming up after this one. That puck drop is scheduled for 3 p.m. Puck is down and Zahn comes away. Zahn's gonna let it rip at the empty net, and it just can't get inside the right post. It stays a 1-goal game. Here's Brent. Brent, good stick by Zahn, poked it, but it went right to Sonia Sharman. Sharman trying to get around O'Brien and put her into the boards. Dupuis looked for connect with O'Brien. Puck is loose, picked up. LaValle, she shoots, it goes wide. 10 seconds to go. Utah looking to put one last shot on net. Dupuis fighting hard on the back deck. She comes away with the puck. Zoe Dupuis finishes the thing off with some excellent defense, and Colorado wins.
A huge weekend for the Buffs. Coming back home to Boulder after facing Utah in Salt Lake and sweeping this weekend. Pulling off a reverse sweep. Both these teams are 2-2 in the new year against each other.
A great season series split. Both these squads took them both at home. An excellent statement wins from Colorado last night and today here against the conference leaders. As Free Bird celebrates the win overhead in the rink. Shira Wine once again coming up huge for Colorado. Made that great save on Sonia Sharman, who almost scored 2 goals in about a minute of each other to tie it up. But that big body of Shira Wine, one of, if not her best saves of the night. So Colorado improves to 13-8-2-1. They now have 29 points on the season. And all of a sudden, Colorado is right back in to the thick of it in the WWCHL. They entered the weekend in 4th place, looking kind of down and out, having lost 4 straight, but big 2 wins over Utah, both at home. And Colorado, they'll be 2nd in place technically after this one. We'll see what Montana State and Grand Canyon have to say about that when they play their games tonight. But all around, just incredible performance from Colorado over the course of the weekend.
This is the momentum shift that this team needed, Paxton. I mean, coming in, like you said, they lost 4 in a row to a tough UMass team. And this Utah team, they were number 1 in the conference, still are as of this moment, this very second. But coming back home after suffering a two-game loss in Salt Lake City and being able to reverse that sweep against this team, playing them on back-to-back weekends. That's certainly a momentum shifter heading into the final 2 games of the regular season.
And Mia Fischelli getting her 21st of the season, opening the scoring there in that 3rd period. It's her 33rd point of the season. It ties her point total from last season. And if she gets 34 anytime in the 2-game series against Denver in the final games of the regular season, it would be a career high for her. Just absolutely incredible season she has had.
Her 3rd season with this team, she's looking to set her own record here heading into the final couple of games. It's going to be an exciting weekend next weekend for this Colorado team as they face off against the Denver Pioneers, another local opponent. Should be very exciting. Game 1 will be played here Friday night in the rec, and then they'll head down to Denver, play game 2 of that series.
And then Abigail Piatagorski just a couple minutes later with that absolutely wicked shot went barred down, and it ended up being the game winner in this one. One incredible shot, and how good has she been for this team as we head towards playoffs? Just how crucial has she been for this team, that new addition as a rookie, and what do you want to see from her into the playoffs?
I mean, heading into the playoffs, she's got to make her presence known. She already has. She can't back down from what she's already doing. You saw that goal here tonight, folks, and I mean, I didn't really see that coming. She was coming down the ice, and it's kind of sneaky. Sneaks it over that shoulder of Diano, and that was unreal. I was speechless after that.
And so taking a look at the rest of the teams here in the WWCHL, at the top, it is Utah. They will stay at 1st place at the end of today, but then after this, they have a 2-game series against the Washington Huskies, the Huskies, they're independent. They're pretty new to ACHA. Not exactly having a great year, if I'm not mistaken. They have maybe 0 or 1 wins on the entire season, so can't really expect UW to come through against Utah and for the scoreboard watching for Colorado's sake. And then Grand Canyon, they play Lindenwood tonight, and then they'll play again on Sunday, followed by 2 games against Arizona State. That'll be huge for scoreboard watching. And then in 4th place right now, sorry, folks. In 2nd place right now is Montana State. It's hard to keep all these teams in my head. In 2nd place is Montana State. They beat Wyoming last night. They have 2 more games against Wyoming. Again, tough to expect Wyoming to do much there, but it's really tight right now in the WWCHL, and it's going to be a fun playoffs.
I'm excited, Pax. I mean, to see what these CU women can do on the ice heading into playoffs. They're a strong team. They've been strong for the past couple seasons, and they're looking to continue that into this year's playoff season.
Coming up after this, puck drop for 3 p.m. is D2 men's playoffs here. Colorado faces off against the Wyoming Cowboys. That's going to be so much fun.
Oh my goodness, I am beyond excited. Quinn Crack, myself, will be on the call for that. Paxton, you're sticking around, I believe, too. So it's going to be exciting. We'll hopefully get some sideline reporting for you folks. Hopefully we'll have a second camera. We'll see. But it'll be an exciting game here in Boulder. The Cowboys coming in facing an incredible Colorado team, to put it lightly.
Absolutely. All right, that does it for our coverage of women's hockey this weekend. Colorado comes out 2-0, taking down the Utes twice. Absolutely incredible wins. Big statements for this program, and they're looking pretty good as they look to finish out the regular season, win out, and then head into those playoffs. Should be good stuff coming your way. There's one last home game that will be streamed live here on Scope Up Sports, and then we'll see about playoffs, where they'll be hosted, and if we will be a part of that here for the live streams. Thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate everyone watching. I'm Paxton Haynes with Kieran Warger, Quinn Kreck on camera, and Nick Evans bringing you our incredible broadcast today. Thank you for watching Men's D2 coming up at 3 p.m. You heard it here first on Scope Up Sports.
Colorado Lacrosse kicks off his season this Monday with a big game against the number 2 ranked Northwestern Wildcats. The Buffs are 1-5 all time against the Wildcats with a 20-5 loss in their matchup last season. Northwestern fell just short of the national championship last season, falling to North Carolina 12-8 in the final. The Buffs will have their work cut out for them, and CU will head to Martin Stadium in Evanston, Illinois, an arena it has never won in, to battle the Wildcats at 6 p.m., streamed live on Big Ten Plus.
Colorado heads into this season predicted to place third in the Big 12. Well, I'm disappeared for lacrosse and had 4 players earn Big 12 preseason honors. Jess Peluso won preseason co-defender of the year. Elena O took home preseason goalie of the year, while Maddie Shoup and Lily Assini made preseason All Big 12, along with Peluso and O. Buff fans will get their first chance to see those 4 and more in person on February 15th against the Cornell Bears at Prentup Field. CU won't play its first conference game against March 28th against San Diego State at home.